Can you believe the ancestors of the Hawaiian people crossed thousands of kilometers of open ocean without a compass? That extraordinary journey brought them here, where they built an independent kingdom, complete with its own royal palace. Hawaii is also one of the most extraordinary island chains on Earth, where tropical rainforests, arid deserts, snow-capped volcanoes, and the vast Pacific Ocean all exist side by side on land that is still being shaped by volcanic forces. Yet behind that breathtaking beauty lies a reality that few people ever hear about. Hawaii is the most expensive state in America, where its isolation in the middle of the Pacific influences nearly every aspect of daily life. And that is only the beginning. Join us as we uncover a side of Hawaii that very few people have ever had the chance to truly discover. Viewed from the edge of space, Hawaii appears as nothing more than tiny green specks scattered across the vast Pacific Ocean. The distance between these islands and the nearest mainland is so immense that during hours of flight, the view below barely changes, with nothing but endless ocean stretching to the horizon. That extraordinary isolation makes Hawaii the only U.S. state located entirely apart from the North American mainland, nearly 4,000 kilometers from the coast of California. At first glance, it seems like nothing more than a point on a map. But the more you learn, the more you realize that this distance has shaped almost everything, from its landscapes and ecosystems to the way people have learned to live in the middle of the Pacific. Nearly every part of Hawaii begins with this remarkable isolation. Many people think Hawaii is just a single island. In reality, it is an archipelago made up of 137 islands and islets, although modern life is concentrated on 8 main islands. Each island has its own distinct character. Oahu is the most populous and vibrant, serving as the cultural and economic center of the state. Maui is famous for its scenic coastal highways and mist-covered valleys. Kauai has preserved much of its untamed beauty, with towering sea cliffs carved by the ocean over millions of years. Meanwhile, the Big Island tells an entirely different story. It is here that the story of Hawaii's creation is still being written. One of the most fascinating things about Hawaii is that even though its islands belong to the same archipelago, they are not connected by a single bridge. The Pacific Ocean separates each island into its own world, where every community has gradually developed its own rhythm, identity, and way of life. But isolation always comes with a price. When every person, every shipment of goods, and every essential supply must cross the ocean to reach its destination, that distance becomes far more than a number on a map. It becomes one of the defining forces shaping nearly every aspect of life in Hawaii. And to understand why this island chain in the middle of the Pacific has become one of the most expensive places to live in America, we first need to answer a more fundamental question. Why did this remarkable chain of islands appear in the middle of the vast Pacific Ocean? And why is the land beneath the feet of the Hawaiian people still growing today? While most islands around the world are slowly worn away by time and the sea, Hawaii continues to grow. This process began with a hotspot deep within the earth, where molten rock has been rising continuously for millions of years. As the Pacific tectonic plate moves like a giant conveyor belt, the hotspot remains almost perfectly stationary. Each time magma breaks through the Earth's crust, a new island begins to form. As the older island gradually drifts away from the hotspot and volcanic activity fades, another island emerges behind it. That is why Hawaii is not a single island, but an entire chain of islands, created one after another over millions of years. But that story has never truly ended. About 30 kilometers off the southern coast of the Big Island, and nearly 1,000 meters beneath the ocean's surface, a new island is quietly taking shape. The underwater volcano, Kanaloa, continues to add layer after layer of lava with every eruption. It may take hundreds of thousands of years before its summit rises above the sea. But when that day finally comes, the map of the world will gain another island. Even at this very moment, the Earth is quietly continuing to redraw its own map. In many parts of the world, these geological processes exist only in textbooks. In Hawaii, they are part of everyday life. At the foot of Kilauea and Mauna Loa, the two most active volcanoes in the Hawaiian Islands, people have grown accustomed to watching rivers of lava cut across roads, swallow forests, and reshape entire landscapes after an eruption. At first glance, it looks like destruction, but for the people of Hawaii, it is also a beginning. They do not see lava as the end of a place. What many would call a disaster, they see as the birth of new land. Perhaps that is why the relationship between the people of Hawaii and nature has always been different. Instead of trying to fight the volcanoes, they have learned to live with a land that has never truly stopped moving. Living in Hawaii means the landscape can change completely after just a few hours of travel. In the morning, rain clouds blanket Mount Waialeale, one of the wettest places on Earth. Yet only a few hours later, the view transforms into the dry Kasu Desert, where cracked ground and ancient lava flows that cooled centuries ago stretch across the landscape. A desert in the middle of the Pacific. It sounds almost impossible. What few people realize is that volcanoes created this remarkable contrast. Volcanic gases and ash from Kilauea have gradually stripped away vegetation, while the porous volcanic rock allows rainwater to sink deep into the ground almost immediately. Over time, this process has produced an arid landscape that in many places resembles the surface of Mars. But the story of Hawaii's volcanoes does not end on land. Along Hawaii's coastline, every lava flow that meets the ocean leaves behind a different signature. At Punalu'u, molten rock shatters into striking black sand. At Papakolea, the mineral olivine gives the beach its rare green color. Farther away, red sand beaches have formed from iron-rich cliffs that have been worn away by the waves over thousands of years. For local residents, these beaches are more than beautiful landscapes. They are reminders of the countless times the islands have changed and living proof that nature is still shaping the land beneath their feet. If volcanoes create the land above the surface, coral reefs quietly protect it below the water. The reefs surrounding Hawaii act as natural barriers, reducing the force of ocean waves before they reach the shore. They also support the entire marine ecosystem, providing habitat for countless species and sustaining the fisheries that local communities depend on. Yet even a place as isolated and as challenging as Hawaii could not keep people away. In fact, those very conditions made the first voyage to Hawaii one of the greatest feats of navigation in human history. And how did that extraordinary achievement become possible? Before we set sail on the next chapter, if you're enjoying this journey, please tap the hype button below the video. Your hype is one of the best ways to help this story reach more people who share a passion for discovery, powered by genuine support from viewers like you. Thank you for being part of this journey. Now let's travel back in time. No one knows exactly how long the first voyage lasted, but when the double-hulled canoes appeared on the horizon, the history of Hawaii began. There were no maps, there were no compasses. Ancient Polynesian navigators found Hawaii by reading the winds, watching the flight of seabirds, and feeling the rhythm of the ocean swells beneath their canoes. That extraordinary knowledge of navigation lives on today aboard the double-hulled canoe Hokulea as it continues to cross the open ocean using the same traditional methods passed down by its ancestors. From those pioneering voyagers, a thriving society quickly emerged. The magnificent Iolani Palace in Honolulu, which had electricity and telephones before the White House, stands as proof of a sophisticated kingdom in the middle of the Pacific that was recognized by nations around the world. Yet despite that remarkable achievement, political upheaval in the late 19th century led to the kingdom's annexation by the United States, forever changing the destiny of the Hawaiian Islands. The rapid expansion of sugar and pineapple plantations later attracted massive waves of workers from Japan, the Philippines, and Portugal. The blending of these cultures became so extensive that today Hawaii is the only U.S. state where no single ethnic group holds an absolute majority. But behind this rich diversity lies an important question. How have native Hawaiians managed to preserve the identity of their ancestors while their homeland has been continually transformed by cultures from around the world? The answer is not found only in history books. It lives on in songs and dances that were once forbidden. For many visitors, hula is simply a dance performed at beachfront resorts. But for the people of Hawaii, it is a living history, written through the movement of the human body. Long before there was a written language, the ancestors of the Hawaiian people preserved the memory of an entire civilization through dance. Every movement in hula is more than choreography. It tells stories of volcanoes, the ocean, the gods, and the great voyages that brought their ancestors to Hawaii. After centuries, that spirit is preserved most vividly at the Merry Monarch Festival, where the finest hula dancers gather to tell the story of their people with every movement and every beat of their hearts. That deep connection with nature does not end on land. It extends into the ocean through Hei'enalu, the art of surfing that originated in Hawaii. Long ago, riding the waves was far more than recreation. It was a sacred practice that honored the ocean and allowed people to demonstrate courage in the face of nature. The size and material of a surfboard once reflected the social status of its owner, with the largest and most valuable boards reserved exclusively for high chiefs. Today, the North Shore of Oahu remains one of the world's greatest surfing destinations. Every winter, waves as tall as buildings draw surfers from across the globe, eager to test their skill against the power of the Pacific. From the land to the sea, all of these values are connected by a philosophy known as Aloha. For many people, aloha is simply a greeting. But for the people of Hawaii, it is a way of treating one another, respecting nature, and caring for the land they call home. Alongside aloha is ohana, the spirit of the extended family, where people share responsibility and place the well-being of the community alongside their own. These values have helped preserve Hawaii's identity through some of the greatest changes in its history. There was a time when the Hawaiian language was banned from being taught in schools and came dangerously close to disappearing. A language that once stood on the brink of extinction can now be heard in the voices of Hawaiian children. This is more than the revival of a language. It is the return of an entire cultural identity. Yet preserving these values has never been easy. The spirit of aloha and ohana now faces one of its greatest challenges as the cost of living continues to rise. Owning a home has become increasingly out of reach, and even people born on these islands are sometimes forced to leave because they can no longer afford to stay. That is the greatest paradox of modern Hawaii. One of the most beautiful places on earth is also becoming one of the most expensive places to live. Behind that paradox lies an entire system that very few people ever get to see. Behind the peaceful beauty of swaying palm trees and white sand beaches lies one of the most expensive places to live in the United States. For the people of Hawaii, the cost of isolation is reflected in even the most ordinary parts of everyday life. A carton of milk on a supermarket shelf is one of the clearest examples. Before it reaches the customer, it must travel thousands of kilometers across the Pacific Ocean inside refrigerated shipping containers. A car, a bag of cement, and even many fruits and vegetables must make the same journey. Nearly all of these essential supplies depend on Honolulu Harbor, the most important maritime gateway in the Hawaiian Islands. If the port's operations are disrupted for only a few days, supply chains can quickly be affected, and daily life across the islands begins to feel the impact. To sustain life in the middle of the Pacific, Hawaii's economy relies on two major pillars: tourism and the military. Every year, millions of visitors come to its world-famous beaches, bringing billions of dollars to hotels, restaurants, shops, and tens of thousands of jobs across the service industry. At the same time, that flow of money has also driven housing prices to extraordinary levels. Many native Hawaiian families find it increasingly difficult to own a home in their own homeland, and many younger residents leave for the mainland in search of a more affordable life. At the same time, Hawaii's strategic location in the middle of the Pacific has made it one of the most important military centers in the United States. Hawaii's isolation has also created a transportation system unlike anywhere else in the United States. There are no bridges connecting the islands. Instead, short inter-island flights operate throughout the day, becoming an everyday form of transportation for residents much like buses in many mainland cities. On the island of Oahu, the H3 highway winds through towering mountains and deep green valleys. It is one of the most expensive highways ever built in the United States, demonstrating the enormous investment required simply to connect communities across Hawaii's unique and challenging landscape. But perhaps the greatest surprise is found on the dinner table. Hawaii has fertile volcanic soil, a mild climate, and natural conditions that are ideal for agriculture. Yet most of the food consumed across the islands is still imported from the mainland. How did a place that successfully fed itself for centuries become so dependent on food shipped from thousands of kilometers away? That story begins with fertile fields, ancient fish ponds, and the changing history of Hawaiian agriculture. Hundreds of years before Western explorers reached these islands, the ancestors of the Hawaiian people created a sustainable system of self-sufficiency that relied very little on the outside world. At the heart of this system were remarkable coastal fish ponds known as loko ia. Ancient Hawaiians built basalt stone walls around shallow coastal waters, skillfully using the tides to allow young fish to enter while keeping mature fish inside. Combined with irrigated taro fields supplied by fresh mountain streams, this system sustained hundreds of thousands of people for centuries. Today, however, the picture is entirely different. Despite having some of the most fertile volcanic soil in the world, Hawaii imports about 90% of the food consumed across the islands. Much of the agricultural land is no longer dedicated to growing staple foods for local communities. Instead, it has shifted toward high-value crops for global markets. On the slopes of volcanic mountains, Kona coffee thrives in conditions that are almost perfect, producing one of the most valuable coffees in the world. Alongside it are plantations of macadamia nuts, pineapples, and a wide variety of tropical fruits that stretch across the islands. As agriculture changed the ocean, once again became one of Hawaii's most important sources of life. At sunrise, coastal fish markets come alive with activity. Fresh ahi, tuna, mahi-mahi, and octopus arrive at the docks and quickly become part of everyday meals. It was on these fishing boats that poke was born. In its earliest form, it was simply freshly caught fish, cut into pieces and mixed with sea salt and native seaweed. Later waves of immigration from Japan introduced soy sauce and sesame oil, creating the familiar flavor of poke that is now recognized around the world. Alongside poke is poi, the traditional dish made from mashed taro root, the sacred staple that nourished generations of Hawaiians and symbolizes their connection to the land. Meanwhile, spam musubi tells a completely different story. Canned meat introduced to the islands by the United States military during World War II was combined with rice and seaweed under the influence of Japanese cuisine, eventually becoming one of the most familiar foods in modern Hawaii. Perhaps nowhere else in the United States is history reflected so clearly in everyday food as it is in Hawaii. From the fish ponds of the ancient Polynesians and traditional taro fields to waves of Asian immigration and the legacy of World War II, every chapter of Hawaii's history has left its mark on the meals people eat today. For the people of Hawaii, a plate of food has never been only about nourishment. It is also an expression of respect for the land and the sea, where nature is not viewed as a resource to exploit, but as a sacred part of life. And from that belief emerged the enduring stories of the goddess Pele and the sacred traditions and taboos that continue to be passed down to this day. Every winter, the waters around Hawaii fill with the haunting songs of humpback whales. Behind this breathtaking spectacle lies millions of years of evolution shaped by near-complete isolation. These whales leave the icy waters of Alaska and cross the Pacific Ocean to give birth in the warm seas of Hawaii, transforming the islands into one of the world's most remarkable natural stages for marine life. Along Hawaii's golden beaches, it is not unusual to find Hawaiian monk seals resting in the sun for hours, or to see the native nene goose wandering freely across grassy hillsides. The remarkable resilience and adaptability of Hawaii's wildlife can also be seen in one of the island's most unexpected stories on Kauai. According to the story most often told on the island, powerful hurricanes destroyed many chicken coops, allowing domestic chickens to escape and mix with wild populations that already lived there. Over time, they multiplied on their own, turning Kauai into a kingdom of free-roaming chickens that wander across beaches, streets, and forests, becoming one of the island's most charming and recognizable symbols for visitors from around the world. But in the beliefs of native Hawaiians, the life of the islands is inseparable from Pele, the powerful goddess of volcanoes. The people of Hawaii honor flowing lava, not because they fear it, but because they believe molten rock is the living breath of the goddess, who continues to create their homeland. That belief lives on through a remarkable phenomenon that continues to this day. For many years, parks and government offices across Hawaii have received packages containing volcanic rocks and black sand returned by visitors, often accompanied by handwritten letters of apology from travelers who feared they had brought home bad luck. Behind those letters lies a profound philosophy that nature does not belong to humanity, and that every gift taken from the natural world carries a responsibility to protect and respect it. Nowhere is that belief more evident than on Mauna Kea, the mountain that native Hawaiians regard as a sacred place connected to their gods and ancestors. Yet today, that same summit has also become one of humanity's most important windows into the universe. It is a mountain that connects the depths of the ocean with the endless sky, where the meeting between ancient mythology and modern science truly begins. The journey to the summit of Mauna Kea actually begins in the dark depths of the Pacific Ocean. If measured from its base deep beneath the seafloor to its summit above the clouds, this extinct volcano rises more than 10,000 meters, making it taller than Mount Everest and the tallest mountain on Earth. Most of the mountain remains hidden beneath the ocean, leaving only its summit visible as a landmark that seems to connect the Earth with the vastness of space. At an elevation of more than 4,000 meters, the air becomes thin and bitterly cold. Every breath requires more effort. Yet those harsh conditions are exactly what make Mauna Kea one of the finest places on Earth for observing the night sky. Above a thick layer of clouds that completely separates the summit from the humid world below, the air remains dry, calm, and almost entirely free of light pollution. Scattered across the barren red volcanic landscape, 13 silver-domed observatories stand like silent spacecraft, pointing toward the heavens each night, capturing light from stars that burned out billions of years ago. In the end, Hawaii has never been just a destination. What truly makes these islands extraordinary is not simply what nature has given them, but how the people have chosen to honor that gift. The people of Hawaii have long embraced a simple belief: we belong to the land. The land does not belong to us. Perhaps that is the true meaning of Aloha. If today's journey through Hawaii has given you a new perspective, we would love to hear what impressed you the most. Share your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe to the channel to join us on many more unforgettable journeys.